You know, I've had conversations with people about it, and it's like, Jesus, like just trying to get the documents, like when they're trying to get the Epstein files, like the state of New York, one of the district attorneys was hiding, they were hiding documents that have forced them to give documents. I think there's so many fucking powerful people that are on those lists. There's so many powerful people that went and partied. Air quotes, partied. And how many of them went to the Diddy parties? Have you been paying attention to the trial?
Oh, yeah.
Trials. Wild.
Oh, man, this case is crazy, man. I'm doing well, but I'm doing a hell of a lot better than Diddy. Let's get that out the way. And definitely a hell of a lot better than him. I meant to ask, are they confident they're going to be able to get this man off? That's what I'm asking, to win this case. Because you can have lawyers, hold on. You can have lawyers saying, I think they're doing good based on the hand they're dealt. They're doing an excellent job. I'm asking, are their chances improving or dissipating towards getting them off?
Joe Rogan and Stephen A. Smith have just broken their silence on Sean Diddy Combs' trial and the new testimony from former assistant Mia. However, Joe Rogan recently opened up about the ongoing trial involving Sean Combs, expressing just how stunned he was by the reports coming out. He compared the secrecy around this case to the difficulty the public faced trying to access the Epstein files. Rogan said that in New York, there were even some prosecutors who allegedly kept certain files hidden, and only with major pressure did those files come to light. He hinted that influential people might be linked to both situations and suspected that many big names had been present at Diddy's exclusive gatherings. Rogan felt the whole thing seemed off, almost like it was being kept in the shadows on purpose. He admitted he had been keeping tabs on the situation and described it as crazy and hard to believe.
You know, I've had conversations with people about it, and it's like, Jesus, like just trying to get the documents, like when they're trying to get the Epstein files, like the state of New York, one of the district attorneys was hiding, they were hiding documents that have forced them to give documents. I think there's so many fucking powerful people that are on those lists. There's so many powerful people that went and partied. Air quotes, partied. And how many of them went to the Diddy parties? Have you been paying attention to the trial?
Oh, yeah.
Trials. Wild.
Rogan also gave his opinion on what Diddy's future might look like, saying it wouldn't surprise him if the music mogul ended up behind bars for the rest of his days. Even if Combs doesn't get a harsh punishment, Rogan said the reputation damage was already beyond repair. He admitted he didn't know exactly how the legal battle would wrap up, but he felt like the court of public opinion had already done enough damage. According to him, whatever happens in court now might not even be the biggest part of the fallout, because Diddy's public image had already taken a massive hit.
Well, Diddy's going to be in jail for the rest of his life. I think he's probably going to get.
Think he's
hit up.
insane though?
I don't know. I don't even think it matters. I mean, it's.
Rogan couldn't help but crack a few jokes about the whole mess. He pointed out how often people used to say things like, "There's no party like one of Diddy's parties," and now that phrase had taken on a whole new meaning. He name-dropped celebrities like LeBron James and Ashton Kutcher, poking fun at how all these folks were at the parties but claimed they didn't notice anything strange. He even mentioned a guy named Darnell, saying of course he had been at the parties too. Rogan laughed about the situation, joking that maybe he should just give Darnell a ring and see what he had to say.
On video saying, "Ain't no party like a Diddy party." How many people like openly talked about being there?
LeBron?
Yeah, how about Ashton Kutcher? All these people, like you guys all went. You didn't see nothing. You didn't see nothing.
Yeah.
Donnell went.
Yeah.
Did he? Of course he did.
Donnell who?
Trying to defend himself.
Is he really? Is he trying to defend himself right now?
It's pretty funny.
I gotta call him up. Donnell, you gotta back away from that.
Going deeper into the allegations, Rogan described the whole thing as something cooked up by a twisted mastermind who knew exactly how to manipulate the people around him. He said that banning cell phones at these events made it easy to keep things under wraps, adding that whoever came up with that idea was truly devious. He wasn't sure if the person acted alone or had help, but in his eyes, they clearly crossed a line. Rogan highlighted some of the more disturbing claims from the case, like stories of Diddy forcing his partner to sleep with other people while he watched, and acting in ways that sounded downright unhinged. Rogan closed that thought by saying it all seemed unreal, like something out of a movie.
Operation's just one fucking evil super genius who figures out how to compromise everybody by providing this crazy freak off party. Everybody's got to put their phones away. Okay, we're gonna put our phone away. No one's gonna know anything. Yeah, I mean, he's got cameras everywhere. It's just one guy doing that. What a diabolical human being.
Yeah.
He seems pretty diabolical.
He's probably working with somebody. Or for somebody.
Maybe.
And maybe he just got too far out there.
Some of the shit that came out in the trial, though, like he's forcing his girlfriend to have sex with prostitutes while he was sitting there jacking off with a bandana on. she'd rub the jizz on his nipples. Like, what are we even talking about?
Rogan went on to mention that there's actual video footage showing Combs being violent toward his girlfriend, yet no criminal charges have come from it. He said the whole case felt deeply unsettling, especially with stories of chaotic parties where well-known guests allegedly took part in drug-fueled madness. Rogan wondered aloud what might happen if all the video clips from those wild nights got released. He guessed the fallout would be far bigger than anyone expects, possibly shaking up the entertainment world even more.
I don't think he's even being charged for beating her up. Like, the video of him beating her up, he's not even getting in charge for that. Megan Kelly said that. She said,
who's got all the videos?
Yeah, what's in the videos? What's that about? I mean, what would happen? What would happen if we got videos?
We need Candace to do a deep dive.
If we got videos of thousands of celebrities just butt fucking each other and sucking dicks and taking Molly, and guys are passing them around.
Moreover, during the live broadcast, legal expert Ryan Smith joined Stephen A. Smith to discuss powerful courtroom remarks made by Mia, who once worked closely with Sean Diddy Combs as his assistant. Ryan explained that Mia's statements are central to the case, especially her claims of being sexually assaulted. But she didn't stop there. Her words also support the prosecutor's push for organized crime charges. Mia described working extremely long shifts without breaks, constantly under intimidation. She said Diddy kept her under his control using manipulation and threats, even sending alarming text messages that warned he would leak personal secrets to damage her if she didn't comply.
It's huge, not only from the perspective that she talks about how she was sexually assaulted by Diddy, which is a big part of the prosecution's case, but it's also part of the racketeering case. Part of what they're trying to prove is a forced labor element of his racketeering case. Essentially saying he had people like Mia working for days in a row under force of threats or coercion. What threats? There's threats that she has over text message of communications where he's saying, I'm gonna tell everything. Things like sexual assault that she experienced in her mind that might be told to Cassie and others that might hurt her.
Ryan Smith went on to say that Mia also described disturbing events that included Diddy hurling objects at her, like a laptop and a plate of spaghetti, adding to the fear she lived with. Her account backs up parts of Cassie's earlier claims, helping to build a broader narrative of abuse and criminal behavior tied to Diddy. Prosecutors argued that he wasn't acting alone, but had help from a team of people who organized events and erased evidence when needed. Mia's version of events supports the idea that Diddy didn't act in isolation, but as the leader of a group involved in wrongdoing and intimidation.
What they're trying to put together through Mia's testimony is a couple of different things. First is that there was an element of forced labor going on under Diddy, where people felt like they had to do things that were extreme under force of like threat or violence. She talks about how he threw a computer at her, threw spaghetti at her. That concern led her to be in this forced labor situation. She's also there to corroborate elements of Cassie's story. Cassie talking about the sexual assault she went through, and now Mia talking about what she experienced as part of the overall case of Diddy having this criminal enterprise, having all these people working for him, planning certain things, doing certain things to cover up the crimes they believe he was committing.
In more detail, Ryan told Stephen A. Smith that Mia's recollection adds serious weight to claims about more extreme crimes like unlawful imprisonment and attempted property destruction. One of the most shocking pieces involves Kid Cudi, who alleged that Diddy tried to destroy his Porsche by setting it on fire. Mia confirmed there was serious tension between Diddy and Kid Cudi after Diddy found out Cassie had been linked to the rapper. She claimed that during one encounter, Diddy appeared with a weapon and made her leave with him by force. She also said he later broke into Kid Cudi's place and sent someone with a message warning Cudi not to talk to authority. These parts of her testimony paint a dark picture of Diddy operating something much bigger than personal abuse, a full criminal enterprise.
This woman talking about everything she went through working for him, working with him, that contributed to the elements of kidnapping and arson. Because you talk about Kid Cudi, that whole situation. We talked about this last week, Stephen A. The idea that Kid Cudi feels that he tried to bomb his Porsche. That's the arson part. So she's talking about all the different relationships that Cassie had with Kid Cudi, how Diddy found out, and the reactions he had. Coming to her house with a gun, forcing her to go one place. That's part of the forced coercion and all of this. And then doing these things like breaking into Kid Cudi's house. She talks about everything that happened there, and that she's then assigned to go and tell him not to talk to the police. All of this works into this criminal enterprise they're starting to talk about here. This idea that he owned or operated and associated this enterprise of doing crimes and had all these people doing things to help facilitate that. When we talked last week, we talked about, hey, where is all of this going? Now we're starting to see, Stephen A., where all this is going.
According to Ryan Smith, the prosecution is now framing this case as more than just misconduct, or mistreatment. They believe Diddy was at the head of an organization that helped him commit crimes and intimidate witnesses to keep everything hidden. The court is now hearing accounts of violent acts, emotional manipulation, and efforts to keep people quiet. Mia's story includes moments where Diddy threatened to release damaging information about her if she didn't do what he said. Ryan pointed out that this sort of calculated pressure is exactly the kind of organized behavior that matches the definition of racketeering, a major focus for prosecutors seeking the harshest possible judgment.
It's not just about the accusations of sexual assault, the accusations of being a bad boss, the accusations of doing things, of threatening violence. It's the fact for prosecutors that he is doing all of these things to sort of facilitate criminal activity, and then on the other end, involving all these people to do these things for him, to either conceal it or to keep it going, and then doing it under force of threats or coercion, saying to people like Mia, hey, you do, or the insinuation is, hey, you don't do this for me, I'm gonna tell everything about what happened with you and me. You do telling somebody else, you don't come with me, I've got a gun, you gotta come with me even if you don't want to. This is the prosecution starting to lay out that most powerful case on racketeering. That's what they need to get the maximum time in jail.
So what are your thoughts on this? Share your thoughts in the comment section and make sure to subscribe and like if you enjoyed the video.